Welcome back, mother lovers, to a brand new episode of Last Call at McLaren'S, the best damn How I Met Your Mother podcast on the internet. Holy shit, man. It has been a long time, but we are finally back, ready to talk some awesome episodes of How I Met Your Mother. John, how are you doing, man?
Well, I mean, it's been like a while.
Yes.
I think. Yep, I'm still alive. I can't complain, man. Things have been rough. Things have been taking turns. I mean, we're both going through some shit. Here we are, though. We are back. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'll say that. Okay. Could be better, but okay nonetheless. But, got to watch another great episode of this awesome show.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to jump back into watching some How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm, and I forgot where we had left off. Yeah. So when I pulled it up and I saw the clip and I saw the Price is Right wheel, I was like, oh, shit. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, man. It's a great one. As you guys all know now, if you're watching this, you've probably already read at least the title of this video or this audio. It's season 2.
Down.
Yes, season 2, episode 20, Showdown. It's a good one, man.
No,
it's
a
good
Hoedown.
One. Hoedown. That's a whole different episode.
Is there an actual episode called Hoedown?
I don't think so, but there should be. I'm just saying.
There should be.
Have the Woo Girls in there.
Woo!
Yeah. But before we get into the episode, I wanted to bring up something. John, you can start it if you want. This person reached out to you. So
yeah, so I was sitting at home the other day and my Twitter goes off. Now, it's very rare that I ever get tagged in anything on Twitter unless it's a last call thing or something for off the ropes. But so my Twitter goes off, I open it, and we got a very special shout out from a fan who was listening, has been listening, who's been going through their own set of shit. We're not going to go into. We're just going to say that they're dealing with some situational stuff. And the text message was gorgeous. It was pretty much put together and said that we're helping them through a dark place while we're also going through a dark place. And Last Call is their like oasis and their safe haven. So we just wanted to give a shout out to a very special person and let them know that we're thinking about them. And thank you for listening to us. Josh has the name because I don't bring my cell phone with me.
Yes, it's at Highland Lion. So yeah, thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Message. Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, we love hearing from everybody who listens. We don't give a shit if you're texting us going, "Oh, you're fucking pieces of shit. Your facts are wrong." First off, fuck you. We fact check most of the time. Josh fact checks. I try. I bring nothing to this except for my good looks and my humor, and clearly I'm out of one of the two of those. You figure it out.
And we also want to address, since it has been a month, and maybe you guys may have forgotten, but we've been doing a little game every episode.
Oh, yeah. So every episode we've been playing a game recently where we ask you guys a question, and the winner is the first person to get the answer right in the question. Well, this time we had 2 possible winners because they both argued their point rather well. So I will let Josh handle that as well.
Okay, so the question from the previous episode was, what was Brad wearing?
Yes. What was Brad wearing when he got picked up at the end of the episode?
Or in the car, yeah. And so we had our first person reach out. This was at JR Lopez 2007. Said Brad was wearing the same thing Joffrey was wearing when we met him in A Knight's Tale. Nothing. Most likely because of the same reasons. For anybody out there who's seen that movie, they know exactly what that reason is. And that was my first assumption watching. I had even put it in my notes originally before we decided on that was what the game was going to be, that he was nude. But then I got another message from at Goofy Weird, WEERD, saying, playing this episode game, I believe Brad was shirtless when the guys picked him up at the end of the episode. And it got me thinking, we don't actually see anything below his waist.
No.
We don't see a bare leg. We don't see a foot. Nothing.
His bum.
So we have no actual idea if he's nude or
True.
just shirtless.
Well, because the guys don't make any gesture to him being
No,
naked either.
they
So
don't. Yeah, they don't make any
mean,
reference to it at all.
I guess it's just kind of how dirty does your mind want to be?
Yeah.
So we're gonna allow both.
Yeah. So at JR Lopez 2007 and at Goofy Weird, thank you for playing the game. You are our winners. All right.
We have a fun one today.
Yes, we do. All right. So let's get into the episode.
Yeah, do it.
And find out all kinds of fun things going on. Like I said, this is season 2, episode 20, titled Showdown. First aired April 30th of 2007. Directed, of course, by Pamela Fryman. Written by Gloria Calderon Kellett. She has written a total of 5 episodes within the first 3 seasons of the show. This is her penultimate episode, with next season's episode, How I Met Everyone Else, serving as her final one.
That's the one where Barney meets everybody.
Yeah, it's a good one.
No,
it's where Ted meets everybody.
Yeah, Ted meets everybody.
But he does meet Barney. Yes, we do find out in that one. So the summary for this episode reads: Ted plans his best man speech for Marshall and Lily's wedding. Robin helps Lily gain weight to fit into her wedding dress. And meanwhile, Barney trains for an appearance on The Price is Right. Pretty simple.
That might be one of the better synopsises yet.
Yeah. Doesn't give away too much, but tells you exactly what you need to know going into it. All right. So this episode starts off with the gang at the bar. Future Ted saying there's some weird stuff going on here. Then we flip over to the bar. Lily is complaining about having a stomach ache, and Marshall apologizes for eating a bunch of ice cream earlier, to which Lily responds, "Oh, baby, you know we're lactose intolerant." Which, at first, I was like, that's funny. That's, the typical, like, this couple is too involved. But then I realized, wait a minute. Neither of them are lactose intolerant, so I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, not to mention, they're just getting back together still. There's no way they're that reconnected yet.
Yeah, it is a bit much there, but it's like, we know for a fact Marshall definitely not lactose intolerant, But and obviously the way she's talking, she's making it seem like she is. But I remember distinctly in the Sexless Innkeeper episode, she eats ice cream in that episode.
Oh, yeah. She has a couple times.
And I'm sure there's other times. I'm sure they've eaten pizza and
well, there's definitely an episode where something happens and she's got the ice cream in bed and she's eating it with like a wooden spoon, and Marshall's like, "Has the ship sailed on sex yet?" And she's like, "Look at me being selfish. Come here." And she's like,
So yeah. I don't know what the lactose intolerant thing is, like, why that was in there, but
it might have just been in like maybe like, I don't know.
I know, but
I try not to overthink
they
it.
Typically are really good about their continuity, like really.
There's a lot of stuff that they're usually pretty good on and still mess up once in a while.
I know, but this one's like, come on, Lily, stop lying about it.
I love that Barney just lights into them about it.
Yeah,
he's like, come on.
You can tell like all of them are just kind of annoyed at the idea of them being so codependent on one another.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. And then I love how Barney calls them out about, like, not to skip too far ahead, because I know it's coming, like, right now. Yeah. But I love that Barney calls them out about, like, well, what happened to not spending the 2 weeks before your wedding together?
Yeah.
And Marshall's like, oh, well, we kind of just, we
decided not to.
Yeah, and I'm just like, really? Like, 2 weeks? I know 2 weeks is a long time, but you have,
and it's just 2 weeks of not sleeping together, not 2 weeks of not seeing each other.
Yeah,
like they could hang out all day long, bone it out in the middle of the day if they really want. But they're not. But the whole like
afternoon delight.
They specified not sleeping, so like at nighttime, not sleeping together. I don't know. Like they could have worked around it.
Sorry, in my head now. I'm like, I want to know what it's like, and then I'm like, I'm gonna hold my baby, gonna hold her tight. Look at.
Don't sing too much of that. Don't want to get flagged.
Yeah, no. We're good. I don't want to scare the fans away either.
I ain't got the money to pay for those.
So let me ask you this, because obviously you've been married.
Yes.
You've done the wedding thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any crazy pre-wedding things like that? Like, we're not doing this before the wedding?
We talked about it. Like, not doing anything. Like, not having
sex. I don't
sex
even mean sex. I mean, like, was there anything before the wedding where you're like, we're not doing this? Like, we won't do this, or like maybe like we're cutting this out, or
no. But like I was saying, we talked about the no sex thing, but we decided not to, and we didn't do anything else crazy like that. The only thing that we did was I think it was like the night before. That was it. You know, like she stayed somewhere else the night before, kind of a thing.
The longest night of your life.
2 weeks. I'm like, no effing way, guy.
No, I was thinking about that too, because I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm in a dry spell right now anyway, but like I'm like on a normal. If I'm getting it on a regular, I don't know if I can go 2 weeks without, wanting to just bang my head into a wall.
No, dude, it's accurate. That's very accurate. So after the opening sequence, Lily is complaining about her mom driving her crazy and stressing her out before the wedding, when Ted and Robin walk in covered in marinara sauce. Now, this is not explained at all until the season finale. So we have to wait 2 more episodes to even get the explanation for this.
Yep.
Barney, of course, assumes that the story is sex-related, of course.
I mean, it's Barney. That doesn't shock me. And
I also noticed Lily wearing a purple jacket.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which I thought was a nice touch. Whether they're doing it on purpose, again, I don't know.
Well, the way I looked at it is this purple is foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Because we all know where it's going in the season finale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just kind of viewed it as like what's happening in this episode. Because like she has a bad time throughout this episode, man.
Listen, you're telling me you wouldn't want to go on an eating gorge if you could?
No, I mean, I absolutely would love the ability to do that, and not be fucking gigantic.
What's the first thing you eat?
Oh, man. What's the...
Because I thought about this earlier. If I was given that ticket that, like, I needed to put weight on, what's the first thing I'm spending money on?
Probably like a
Chinese.
Whole I mean, Chinese is good. I'd probably go for like a whole, like, chicken finger pizza or something. But Chinese ain't bad, man.
I can see face standing there like, Daddy, can I have a piece? And you're like, fuck no.
Or like 2 full racks of ribs, maybe.
That's the way to go.
I love me some ribs.
I would just pull into Burger King and be like, yo, listen, I'm going to need a lot of food right now. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need this.
Okay. Here's an off-topic side question, but deals with what you just mentioned.
Okay.
What is your favorite fast food burger? Just curious.
Shit, that's a tough one.
Like no like restaurant, like like no Applebee's and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like specifically fast food.
Yeah, fast food. You go, you grab it through the drive-through. You're in, you're out. Boom.
You're gonna think I'm crazy for this one, but Five Guys.
Have I had? I think I might have. I can't. I honestly.
I did Five Guys once.
I think I might have. Yeah.
But honestly, and if
I think it was only once. I don't really remember how.
Probably BK.
That's mine. Like, my daughter loves to because we get fast food every week for our movie nights or whatever, and she'll go between like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, because we have all of them out here. And I've tried all of these burgers, and the one that I'm like, this one's actually like really fucking good, is like the Whopper patty. I don't know why.
Well, I don't
know what it is.
King, or not?
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about like the patty itself. I think is
yeah.
really good. You can put whatever you want on it. That's of your own taste, but like patty wise, I really dig the Burger King one. I don't know. Let me know, guys. Everybody out there at Last Call HIMYM. What are some of your favorite fast food burgers? Love to hear.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get back into this. Barney and Marshall.
Can I get a Whopper, large fry, no onion?
I didn't go to fucking Burger King.
I didn't go to Burger King.
Anyways, so Barney and Marshall go back to playing their video games. That's what they were doing while Lily was kind of complaining about things. Barney questions Marshall whether they'll actually be able to do the whole 2 weeks thing. And this is where we find out that Marshall has made what he calls a night-night tape for Lily to watch before bed. Which is essentially just a song for her, saying goodnight kind of a thing. Of course, Barney makes fun of them for this. We do get to see it at the end of the episode, which is hilarious. And it's a nice little. It's funny to think about like where it starts compared to where his nighttime song for their son goes.
Now, see, and it's funny that you say that because when I heard him sing the Lily one, which I forgot he had one, I heard the Night Night Marvin song in that.
Yeah. When he
Marvin
starts it off, it's like I started to sing it that way, and then he doesn't sing it. He doesn't continue to sing it that way. I was like, oh, I got almost like bummed out because I had forgotten about it too. Because I'm pretty sure, doesn't he sing another one to Lily later on? I feel like he does.
I don't remember another sleep one, but I do remember her birthday one.
Yeah,
happy Lily.
There's definitely a birthday one. But
nice.
I do love the Marvin one quite a bit, and I did. I did start singing it when he did. But we'll kind of talk a little bit about that because that's literally at the end of the episode. So Lily comments that no one has bought anything good from their registry at this point, and Barney starts asking her, what's on it? And as she starts listing off the things on the registry, he starts nailing the prices for each one, as if he had memorized it or something.
Yeah, I love how Marshall says that too. He's like, "Did you like?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm training." And he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, be ready to go on The Price is Right." And I love how everybody's like, "Why?"
Yeah,
like,
I mean, dude, I would love to go on The Price is Right. That'd be awesome.
Well, see, here's my next sideline question: if you could go on one game show, only one, what game show do you go on?
Press Your Luck. That was the one with the whammy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, as much as that's my favorite game show, that's not the one I'm going.
I would dig that, or maybe like Wheel of Fortune, because I'm pretty good at that game.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune wouldn't be a bad one. I don't think I'm smart enough to spell some of the words. Honestly, I would love to go on Supermarket Sweep or Family Feud.
Dude, Supermarket Sweep would be dope. I love that show.
I would need a partner for that. So obviously you're my partner.
What?
And Family Feud, I need a family. So you're still my number 2 call.
How's it, dude? I'd be down for any of those. Family Feud would be fun as long as it's still Steve Harvey, because he's hilarious.
His mustache terrorizes me.
Like his reaction to certain answers, like I randomly watch that stuff on YouTube. It's good stuff. Yeah. Holy shit, it's hilarious. But then we head on over to Robin's place, where Lily is trying on her dress. And did you notice anything about this scene? Because I noticed something right away.
No.
First thing I notice, the blue French horn is not there, and that is answered in the final episode as well.
Yeah, but no, I didn't notice that.
It is completely because the first shot is almost the entire mantle, and then Robin off to the side a little bit.
I didn't actually.
And there's just an open space where the blue French horn used to be,
because they give it back.
Yeah. So again, little things that like the marinara thing. This for those who caught it, but you don't get any answers to that in this episode at all. Yeah. So you're left what the fuck? Especially the marinara thing. You're like, what the fuck was that? If you've never seen anything else, you have no idea what's going on. Then Lily comes out in her dress, all happy at first, but then she puts her hands up in the air and her dress just slides right off of her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how she didn't notice that it was super loose in the first place, but
I thought that same thing. I'm like, somebody had to lace her up and shit. Did she not realize that her dress didn't fit properly anymore?
Yeah, because it just slid right down, and there you go, the backside of a naked Lily. There you go.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, of course.
If they wanted to show the front side, I'd be okay with that.
Absolutely. So back at the apartment, Ted is working on his best man toast with Marshall. He starts off telling the story of how Marshall had a criminal record.
First off, hold on. Before we get into the criminal record, I love that the 3 times we hear the speech, he does the introduction.
Yeah.
Everybody, my name's Ted Mosby. I'm Marshall's best man, and best friend and best man or something.
Yeah.
And he turns, he's like, classic.
Solid
And I love
opening.
that every time.
Still a solid opening.
Oh, yeah. And they acknowledge it every time. And I love that, like, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was, I love that as well. But yeah, so apparently Marshall has a criminal record because he got pulled over once for driving alone in the carpool lane. And we get a little scene of this happening. The cops flip the lights on, and then all of a sudden, Lily pops up out of nowhere because she was obviously giving him a little roadhead, bro.
Now, see, I thought about this too. Argue it. All you gotta do is say Lily was sleeping.
Or she dropped her phone and was looking for it.
I mean, this is 2007, bro.
Yeah, they all had cell phones. They're like flip phones.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a flip phone. If you weren't holding on to that enough that it fell onto the floor, then you fucking deserve that shit.
Maybe she dropped a bag of Skittles. I don't know. It could be almost anything. Could be almost
Skittles.
Yes, it did.
Had to be Skittles.
My husband loves Skittles.
Do you remember the time you dropped me off at the old house and my cell phone had fallen off my side and you ran it over with your car?
I do. Yep, and that's why neither of us wear cell phones on our belts.
Nope. Not since that.
Yep, because bad news bears. Yeah, but didn't that phone it wasn't like that? Like it was still usable, wasn't it? If I remember right,
mean, partially usable. Like there was a lot of shit that was wrong.
It was surprisingly durable.
It was definitely not the precursor to that phone that I threw at a brick wall and scratched the phone slightly, but broke the battery into 8 pieces.
So yeah, the phone was solid, but the battery.
Oh yeah, that phone. Well, do you remember the guy's demonstration where he opened it and he's like slamming his hand on it, and I'm like, well, that's a glass counter. Come on. And he's like, here, toss it on the phone, jump on it, be my guest. And I was like, okay.
Yep. And you're like, sold.
Sold. I'll take one.
I'll take 10. Thanks, guy.
That would have been the smart move.
Yeah, maybe you'd still have them today. Like that's Probably. What you're using, those like fucking big old like old school phone from like the early 2000s. And yeah, so where am I? Marshall says, you can't tell that story at the wedding, Ted. Then suddenly, Barney bursts in through the door, wooing, running around the couch, and runs right back out the door. You're like, what the fuck just happened? Then he busts back in again, going, yeah, oh yeah, doing the same thing. He like smacks Marshall on the back, runs back out. And then he comes in a third time, just walks in, and he's like, A or B, guys, which one is it? Because he is practicing his run down the aisle for, as he calls it, TPIR. The Price is Right. TPIR. Well, John, here's my question for you. How would you run down the aisle?
Oh, man. You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I would attempt to crowd surf, which would put me in the emergency room, and I would never get to go on The Price is Right.
You and probably a few other people as well, because they'd be like, what is happening?
Honestly, though, since COVID, I don't know if you've watched The Price is Right, but they don't have like a big audience anymore. It's like they're broken down into small sections.
Oh.
So like now it would be like you'd have to get up and like run around anyway. So I mean, I would probably run. I would probably be all like, not gonna lie, I'd probably have a couple beers in my pocket, go full stone cold, be like, boom, and then like, yeah,
and then they'd be like, and then they'd be like, you are out of here.
I'd be like, oh, I'm out of here. You're out of here. I'd take off my shirt, reveal that I was wearing a ref shirt, grab a steel chair, bam, hit Drew Carey in the face. We're on the wrong episode for that.
and then you pick up the mic and you just start hosting yourself. That's how it should be.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Crazy Jay here became the host of The Price is Right.
Boom. I like it. That's how it should always be.
In another universe, this is happening right now.
Okay, let's go there. I want to see that happen. So Ted then asks Barney to do it again because he's like, oh, I get what you're doing. Let me see him again. And as Barney runs out the door, he gets right up and locks the door behind him, causing Barney to slam into the door as he tries to re-enter.
That's hilarious, too.
It is hilarious. Just the sound of him crashing into that door, it makes me laugh. Because I watched this episode like 3 times. It made me laugh every single time that I watched it. And then he starts being like, just for this, any prize, out of all the prizes I win, you're gonna get the rice-a-roni and the turtle wax. And the look on Ted Marshall's face was like, okay, like they seemed like they were cool with that.
I mean, by this point, okay, I'll take some rice-a-roni.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with the turtle wax because I don't think either of them have a car at this point.
I mean, listen, we don't ask questions.
I'm just saying.
Maybe Marshall's gonna fucking wax Lily up.
Maybe. I was gonna say because the Fiero's
gone. The night song. Oh yeah.
As far as I know, Ted doesn't have a car yet. That comes much later on. Much later. So back at Robin's, Lily, she's on the phone with the dress shop.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite moments of this episode.
Okay,
because she's talking to the lady, and I love how she's like, "No, my dress won't fit," and then she's like, "Well, how $300 for alterations? It's not my fault. I lost weight doing nothing." Click. She's like, she hung up on me.
She called me a bitch and hung up. Yeah. I love that. She's like, what happened? She called me a bitch and hung up. Well, yeah, that happens. Then Robin has an idea. She's like, you know what? Instead of paying $300, this is your opportunity to eat whatever you want.
Yeah, man.
Fill it back in. And I mean, yeah, we talked a little bit about that. What we would eat. Apparently, the only thing Robin had in her house, Cool Whip and Fritos.
Yeah, which I think is weird because Robin seems like the kind of person who would be a snacker.
Yeah, I know, I agree. But also, like, why did she bother to ask Lily, okay, if you could have anything, what would you have?
Yeah.
And Lily names this thing. She's like, well, I don't have any of that. All I have is Cool Whip and Fritos. Did she think her answer was going to be Cool Whip and Fritos? Like, come on, Robin.
Man, I can't name every time that I've just been like, man, I could go for some Cool Whip and Fritos.
I mean, hey,
fuck, man,
takes a special craving to want some Cool Whip and Fritos. I think
I'm not commenting on that.
Cool Whip and Fritos makes me almost think about the 7-layer salad. You know what I mean?
Oh my god,
which I will bring up again.
That shit makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about it.
But like I said, I will be bringing it up again later.
That's fine.
There's a specific reason. So then we go back to the apartment. Ted is retrying his toast. So he tells a different story. No sex involved in this one.
No, I love this one though.
Yeah. A story of when Marshall and Lily first said, I love you.
Yeah.
They're in college. They're all high.
No, they were drunk.
Well, I don't know, man.
Marshall says drunk.
No, he doesn't. He says wasted.
Oh, yeah.
But they definitely weren't acting drunk.
No, they weren't.
Which is why I thought it was wanting weird. Snacks and stuff. I feel like they had to have been high. I feel like because like that was their thing in college. You know.
Oh yeah.
They talk about that a lot. So I'm gonna go with they were high. Maybe they were both. Maybe it was a little bit of both. Yeah. I don't know. But Ted went out to get some snacks, and when he walks back in with 2 bags of Funyuns, Marshall looks at Ted and says, "I love you." And Lily perks up, thinking he says it that he's saying it to her, and says it right back. And she's getting all lovey-dovey, and Ted sneaks back out of the room.
Oh yeah. Now, does this scene remind you of any other shows we've ever watched that this has happened? Because I instantly, when I saw this, I was like, I think it was because of what I was watching beforehand.
The I Love You Too from Scrubs?
I Love You Too.
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice, Elliot. I love you too. And I was like, nobody cares, Sean.
Nobody cares, Sean. I hadn't thought about it until right now, but yes, it totally does.
I love you too.
Oh, man, that's good.
Also, another side note worth mentioning in this point is that when I was watching the Scrubs reunion on YouTube earlier, they mentioned the guy who plays Sean will post shit on like Instagram and stuff, and that is blowing up in the comments all the time where it's like nobody cares.
Nobody cares, Sean. He'll never live that down.
Bill Lawrence is like, he could literally post like, hey guys, we need to save the environment, and like somebody be like, nobody cares, Sean.
Dude, I have a feeling he could be like, my mom just died, and somebody will be like, nobody cares, Sean.
So apparently he hates it, Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
His name's something Foley. That's all I remember.
Scott Foley.
That's it.
Yeah.
Apparently, he hates it. Like, he's like, that's all I'm remembered for is Sean.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, first off, you should be honored that the fans even remotely care about you enough, because his role was good when it first started, but he became a douchebag. Like, he was one of Elliot's worst boyfriends.
Yeah.
And the fact that fans like 20 years later are still like, nobody cares, Sean.
That means they do care.
They do, and that's it. They do, and they're honored enough to reach out to the one thing that ever was funny about his character.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like I liked him on like Scandal, and there was another show, like he was a spy or something. I think it lasted like one season that he was good in.
Because nobody cared.
But like, it's Sean, man, all the way. Sorry, Scott Foley. You are forever going to be Sean, and nobody will care. But yeah, so after Ted tells this little story, they show the two of them entering the bar, and they're still talking about all of this. And Marshall again is like, you can't tell that story, and it kind of boiled down to the main crux of it was because his mom would be mad about various things, one of which was him eating junk food.
Yeah, the poor nutrients.
And this is where the 7-layer salad comes into play, because it doesn't make sense. He's talking about the Funyuns, and that is literally an ingredient in the Erickson 7-layer salad. True. Funyuns is like the third to the top layer, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because then there's like gummy bears and potato chips as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really don't think your mom gives a fuck about junk food, sir. I really don't.
I mean, especially with all that mayonnaise in there.
Especially not Funyuns. You know what I mean? Because literally is in there. But then we also learned that Lily has never heard this story, which means she does not know that the first time that Marshall, quote unquote, said I love you to her, he was actually saying it to Ted.
No, but honestly, and this is one of the few things I love about this show, where this crux right here has a chance to come up multitude of times, it's never mentioned again.
Yeah. Because I feel like it would cause an issue.
Oh, it would cause a big fight between the two of them. One of those multi-layer fights that brings up other fights.
But it's one of those things. It's like Ted and Marshall locking it in a safe, kind of a thing,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So. I respect that. We've got shit like that between us that we don't ever it's never revealed to the public, man.
That's what the vault is for.
Fuck yes.
And then so we head over to the booth. We see that Lily and Robin are already over there sitting. Marshall and Lily say hey to one another, and Ted is surprised that that's all that they do. You're like, that's it, just hey. That's all you're gonna do.
We find out why later, but
yeah. And so like I wrote this in my notes. I was like, this is good foreshadowing for what comes later in the episode.
Oh yeah,
because they don't make a big deal about it. It's just like they're like, hey, and Ted's like, that's it, just hey, and then they just move on.
Yep.
But yeah, because there is an actual reason for this, which I really like that they kind of put something like that in there. So then we flash to a little later in the evening. Lily has ordered, they're still at the bar. Lily has ordered every deep fried item on the menu. Apparently there are 11 different deep fried items. 11. And then we see Barney riding a bike into the bar. He flips the bike over and he starts using it to mimic the Price is Right wheel, trying to get as close to the makeshift $1 spot as he can.
Here's a funny thing I realized, by the way. Do you know why he rides a bike in?
No.
Just this will be funny when I say the punchline. You know why?
Okay. Why?
Because it's not a boogie board.
There you go. It's not a boogie board.
There's no sign that says no bike riding in the bar.
That's true.
But it does say no boogie boarding.
That's, you know what? I like it. He's taking full advantage. And you notice nobody in the bar, like no bartender, waitress says a word to him about it.
Did you know? Yeah, nobody says anything that he rides a bike in, skids it to a stop, and then flips it over.
Yeah.
Says nothing.
Nope. They don't care. They're just like, oh, it's just Barney. Whatever. it's those 5 over there doing their thing.
Over the course of the show, how much money do you think they spent in the bar?
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the tens of, if not more, thousands of dollars.
That's something we should tweet to Carter.
I would love to see if
how much money did the gang spend in the bar? Because I mean, there's a couple times where they had to have spent a good chunk of money, like the shots, the champagnes. At one point, Marshall buys the big, oversized, comically sized bottle of champagne.
Yep, it's like what, $3,500 or something like that.
Yeah,
some crazy thing. Yeah, and then they had like a 30-year bottle or some like a 35-year bottle that they bought at one point in the bar. Yeah. That was really expensive.
I know they stole a few bottles of Glen McKenna throughout the show to like the big ones, but like they still paid for a few.
Well, they stole bottles at the end.
Yeah.
During the wedding at the end.
Yeah.
And those were like 35 years, I think. And then I think somebody winds up coming up with like a 50-year, something crazy.
Yeah, the Farhampton Inn has the 50-year.
Yeah.
And Tracy buys Ted the shot because he punched the douchebag in the face.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. Can't wait. It's going to be a good time when we get to those. Though it'll also be a sad time because it'll be coming to an end.
Listen, when we get to the episode where they start to talk about Tracy dying, you're recording that one on your own. I can't do
it. No, I'm just going to force you to sit here.
See this box of Kleenex? I'm going to need like 6.
That's fair. I mean, I'll be honest. I teared up toward the end of this episode.
Pussy.
Okay, sure. But, I mean, we haven't gotten to that point yet. But, I mean, Barney gets real sentimental.
Oh, you're talking about when he's on The Price is Right? Yeah.
The moment that I'm just like, God damn, man. The music changes and the way that Neil acts it is I don't know, man. It did.
In my head, it goes bum 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 bum.
Yep.
Bum 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 bum.
It was definitely one of those. You got it, man. You got it right on the money. And unlike Barney, who definitely didn't get it on the money, as he spins his bike wheel.
Yeah, dude,
he starts freaking out, saying, "It's not called The Price is Close. It's called The Price is Right."
So here's the thing, though, a lot of people don't realize about the wheel. And I realized this when he spun the wheel. Did you see where it landed? Because it landed in a specific spot for a reason.
Like 4 spaces away?
Like 3 to 4, technically. If that was the giant wheel, it would have landed 3 to 4 spaces away. Yeah. Which is the 85-cent spot that he spins it from.
Okay.
When he spins the wheel. Because when you spin the wheel on The Price is Right, they don't reset the wheel every time. Yeah. You spin it from where the last person spun it. So the goal isn't to try and spin it hard enough that you're going to hit $1. You need to spin it enough that you can bring it back around to hit the $1.
Yeah.
And
you need to know it takes a lot, and really it's mostly just luck.
Oh yeah, that wheel is all chance, and you can't convince me somebody's not behind the scenes with their hand on that wheel slowing it down at interval times.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's got some sort of rigging, at least a little bit.
Drew Carey's a bitch.
Ouch. God damn.
He is not as funny as Ryan Stiles or Colin Mockery.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you there because you're not wrong.
He's also not Wayne fucking Brady.
John, that's why he was the host. and not
They're
one
like,
of the
Drew, we need to see you behind this desk because 1, you're fat, and 2, you're not funny.
Ouch. He's like, well, I'm not fat anymore.
They're like, yeah, but you're still not funny.
Here, you're going to host The Price is Right, sir. Enjoy.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Yes. Dude, I found something out real quick about Happy Gilmore. Apparently, it wasn't originally supposed to be Bob Barker.
No?
It was supposed to be Ed McMahon.
Oh, that would have been a fucking...
But he read the script and said, nah, this ain't for me.
That makes me respect Bob Barker so much more, though.
Yeah.
Because that means Bob Barker read it and was like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll fight Adam Sandler.
Dude. This is apparently Bob Barker, practiced like martial arts and stuff.
No shit.
Yeah. And he said that he's been in a few fights, but has never won. And the reason he said yes to the part was because he wins the fight. I was like, that is fucking amazing.
Shit.
I will watch that scene with a whole new perspective
Listen,
from now on.
ladies and gentlemen, just for Bob Barker, please remember to spay and neuter your pets.
Yes. Absolutely. All right.
We'll get to that later again too, but
we will. So Barney reveals that the reason he's going on to The Price is Right is so that he could finally meet his father, none other than Bob Barker himself.
Yep.
That's right, man.
And everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, guys, story time.
Yes.
Which, they flash back to little Barney, little Barney.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mom, who's my dad? And she's like, I don't know. Which is funny, because if I'm not mistaken, is that not the voice of Mega Mullally?
Mullally, yeah.
Mullally?
Yeah.
Thought so. Because she's like, I don't know this guy, and points to the TV, and it's Barker. Yep. So then you start getting this series of young Barney moments where he runs up to the TV to talk to his dad, which brings me to today's question.
He does a couple of things. He has the report card.
Report card.
Yeah, he's dressed up like him for Halloween.
Which brings me to today's question.
And then also playing baseball. He throws. That's the best one. In my opinion, he tosses it. He's like, hey, Dad, you want to play catch? And he throws the baseball at the TV. It tinks and just rolls away. And it's just like, that is so sad, man. But yes, it's time for the question of the week.
When little Barney dresses up as Bob Barker for Halloween, what color is his microphone?
Yes, there it is, folks. That is the game for this week.
Is his microphone?
There it is. Let us know at LAST CALL HIMYM.
First person with the proper response gets a shout out on the next episode.
Woot woot, which I will make sure is actually next week.
I was gonna say we're gonna get the last 3 hammered out here within the next couple weeks. So yes. We're back, and then we might take another small pause before season 3 because Josh has still got some shit going on, but.
Yeah, but we'll get there, guys. And so be sure at LAST CALL HIMYM. Answer that question. First up gets a shout out on the next episode. All right.
So then
we get Robin yelling at Marshall all of a sudden to put down the popper, John. Yeah. Put down the popper because Lily needs them so she can gain some weight.
Needs the food
to fit into her wedding dress. Marshall's face throughout the rest of that scene, he's just like death staring Robin. He's just like,
I saw that, man.
He wanted that popper, man.
It's one popper out of all that food.
Yeah, she could spare a popper. Oh man, I just thought that was Jason Segel's like facial performance.
Oh,
just
always,
incredible,
man. It's always on point with him.
It is, yeah, 100%. So then we go back over to Robin's place. Lily comes out, and she's lost another pound. Doing all that eating, still losing weight. Robin says that she's like, "That's impossible. You ate McDonald's for the last 3 days." And then Lily's like, I knew that Super Size Me guy was full of it, which I thought was a great little reference.
It is, especially for people who don't know it or have never seen it.
Yeah. Because I think that came out, I want to say like 2004, somewhere.
I was going to say it came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah, so it was only a few years old, I think. But
this dude made a documentary about him eating McDonald's for a year straight.
No, I think it was only a month.
Was it a month? I thought it was a year.
Was every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every meal for a month. And I gave up McDonald's for a little while after watching that. Like I gave up fast food for a little while after watching that because like it makes you kind of like rethink some things. But then after a while, I'm like, fuck it. Give me my Whopper. Give me my chicken McNugs.
Whopper, large fry, no onion.
Give me my goddamn nugs.
The pickles.
And the pickles. Sweet. John, you want some
nope.
sweet and sour sauce?
We're just gonna move on.
For those who know, You know.
For those who know, you know.
Yep. So Robin says it must be the wedding stress and forces Lily to stuff her face full of fudge.
Yeah.
Until she
Drop
starts
give
crying.
me 5
pieces of fudge. And then we get one of my favorite lines from this episode. You gonna cry? Skinny little baby's gonna cry. The way, I don't know, I don't think I do it justice. The way Robin says it to her.
I mean,
is
this
so
is definitely a
funny.
sign that Robin was a like army brat of some sort.
Well, I mean, she wasn't, but she was raised kind of that way.
Well, kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we see later on, like how her dad raised her essentially like a boy, and was real tough on her. But yeah, that definitely comes out here. Skinny baby gonna cry. I don't know why that one hits me so much, but it does. So at the apartment, Ted tries one more time on his toast. And he tells this completely like neutered version of the story of like after they got back together and everything, involving like them staying out until 10 p.m. doing shots of chocolate milk. Yeah. Everyone's like super polite. And then there's like this bit about Marshall and Lily holding hands, which I thought was hilarious.
Which is funny because it's kind of a reference back to the dinner party when they were having problems. Yeah. Are you going to hold my hand or are you just going to talk about it?
Yeah.
I'm like...
I mean, it was really funny to see, like, to watch Marshall and Lily talk to each other like they're like really talking sexual, but about holding hands. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it was about how the way they did it, but it was hilarious. It was.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh wants to hold hands with somebody. Apparently,
come on, I just want to hold hands. Yeah,
yeah.
Squeeze them a little bit. Can we squeeze hands?
I want to hold your hand.
No, it's okay.
Oh, fuck you! You could do way worse than me, man. I could be John Kuznicki.
That's true. I could do way worse.
Dan Page.
We're over here name dropping bitches.
I really don't give a fuck right now. I will go there.
They're like, "Oh, come on, guys, we're watching your show."
Somewhere people are like Facebook, like, who the fuck is this douchebag?
I would be
kind of comments start going to their inbox. Why are you so shitty?
And
nobody cares, Sean.
They start messaging everybody with that name. So there's like 50 people. They're just like every single one just to hope that they get the right one. Now that would be good stuff. So then we flash 2 weeks later to the wedding. Ted is giving his toast. Lily is in her dress. And Marshall is wearing a fedora.
Yeah, I completely forgot that he had to wear the fedora.
We learned what happens to make him wear that hat next episode, I believe.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hilarious.
Listen, if you haven't watched this episode or watched any of How I Met Your Mother and you're just now for the first time and you waited for us for a month, then you don't need to know because he's going to fucking buzz it. He's going to be like,
Nyeh. I mean, just one line, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, straight in the middle, too.
Yeah.
He's like, ah! And then he's like, why?
I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be hilarious. I mean, I'll be watching that this week so I can prep it. And then we're going to pump it out. Pump it out. That's right. Pump it up. John, I'm gonna pump
you up.
So during Ted's speech, he says that the perfect moment that captures Marshall and Lily as a couple happened just 2 nights prior to this, when he caught Marshall sneaking back in from meeting up with Lily. Apparently, he had been doing this for a bit, for like almost that whole time. And we flash over to the hotel that they're in, and they're like snuggling. And Marshall asks Lily how the weight gain is going. And she says, she's been too stressed out without him. And then they decide to order a shit ton of food and just pig out in the room together. And I got to say, man, I like that relationship.
You left out my favorite line out of the entire episode.
Go for it.
right before he asked her that question, he asked her one other question. Baby, do you mind being in the big spoon for a little bit?
Yeah.
Because what guy doesn't like being held? And any guy watching this episode who goes, oh no, I predominantly like being the big spoon. Fuck you. Roll over and let your girl hold you. You will never feel better.
It's true. I 100% agree with that, man. Sometimes you just got to be the small spoon and be held.
I've spooned Josh before.
It's true. That's also true. That is also true. So then I noticed something while at the wedding. The bridesmaids' dresses are purple. Don't know if it means anything, sir.
I don't think that it was supposed to at this point. I think that was just a small.
But I was like, interesting. But in my mind, I was like, maybe it's because this is the fake wedding. Like, you know what I mean? Bad stuff happened here to lead to this. You know,
maybe.
Like we see a lot of fucking insanity go down.
Well, there is some fallout from the wedding too. Still,
that is true.
You know,
yeah. And so,
but I love that as Ted's telling the story though about like the things that make the wedding special. He's like, "Oh wait, I gotta tell you about Uncle Barney first."
Yeah,
and he goes and tells the story about Barney on The Price Is Right.
Yep,
which is like, and I love how they segmentize this. Like they don't try to make it a long drawn out thing. It's like Barney gets called, he goes down, he gives his opening bid, hits his opening bid head on.
Yep.
And then
you see him like thinking about it and it's like
and
whatever
how, he's
whatever like, $9.99, but since you guys round up, you know, I'll do this. Yeah, wrong.
And then I love how he gets up on stage, first game, nails it straight out of the park. And then
I love how it's like you got the camcorder in 1 second.
Yeah.
And then he spends the next 28 seconds showing Bob pictures of himself throughout his life.
Yeah.
You know, this is me when I was a kid. This is me graduating, you know, and all this stuff. And then at the very last second, he guesses correctly the amount for the computer, which I was like, he just wanted to spend some time with Bob, with his dad.
Spend some quality time with my dad.
Yeah.
Because I like how they're like, what are you doing? Guys, it's called spending some quality time with my dad.
Yeah.
Like it's like nothing to him. And then, you know, like he gets his big wheel spin and he ends up hitting the dollar, so he gets to go on to the
dude, the way he shoves that other guy is
I really wish that the other guy would have fallen. But they didn't.
It was so like just so violent.
Also, I really love how it's at that moment, it's when he spins the wheel. He's like, or no. Shit. Which part is it where he's like, I'm proud of you, son? Is that the wheel or
it was right before. Yeah, it's right before, like he's standing there right before he spins it. He calls him son, and then he's like, Are you proud of me? Because he's telling him how well he's done.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yes, I am. And he's like, I'm ready to do this. And that's when he spins the wheel. Yeah, he gets
it's just such a great segment for Barney. And then, of course, he goes on to the show. And I love how, as he's going along, he's pulling the gifts out of this backpack. And, giving them to Marshall and Lily.
Yep.
And when they get to the showcase, he's like, oh, please, no trip, no car. I'll pass.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, names this number, and he's like, over.
Yep.
And then I'm like, damn. And then they give the second showcase, and Marshall's like, I don't even know what I would do with a dune buggy. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And he hits it.
Oh yeah. And I love how like he's like 18421.
Yeah.
And they're like, or no, whatever he says.
Well, it's either 18421 or 18241.
No, it's 18421 if it's 18. I just couldn't remember if it was 18 or if it was just 8.
No, it's 1.
But yeah. So he says it, and Bob's like, oh, she's way over, and you're dead on. And I'm like,
yep.
But I'm sad because we never see the dune buggy.
Yeah, and it never comes up again. It's like, what did they do with a dune buggy?
Sold it for rent?
I feel like they must have. Because, like, it's never talked about. Where would they have kept this thing?
Well, it's weird,
in New York City.
Because you do realize Barney essentially did the most for them for their wedding and honeymoon.
Yeah.
He gave them all the shit he won on Price is Right,
Mhm.
and he pays for their trip to Scotland for their honeymoon.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
because they get all that money out of them during the painting episode.
Here's my question: there are always trips in The Price is Right. So where do those trips go? Because they obviously didn't use those for their honeymoon.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I had an interesting note. Up until this point in The Price is Right, no one had ever guessed the exact amount of the showcase. So
really?
It had never happened before. So like they weren't like basing it on anything. It was just they wanted Barney to so it wasn't like somebody
that well done
like they'd ever had. Until a year later in September of 2008, somebody got the exact showcase number.
Holy shit.
And they turned that into a documentary called Perfect Bid, The Contestant Who Knew Too Much.
Huh.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. The story is pretty wild.
I'll have to check that out.
He essentially did kind of like the thing like what Barney was doing, like essentially training for it and like learning these prices and studying the Price is Right and stuff.
Well, did you hear about the guy who beat Press Your Luck like that?
No.
He watched a shit ton of episode and realized, you know how like the board constantly shuffles and the thing moves around the board? He realized there was a pattern in the way the thing moved. Oh. He learned the pattern. He went on the game and he took home. There's a thing on YouTube about it. Like he took a shit ton of money, and then they fucking lawsuited him, and they took their money back because they found out he essentially cheated.
Wow. But yeah, check out this documentary, Perfect Bid, The Contestant Who Knew Too Much. Interesting stuff. And nobody has done it again since. That person was the only person ever to do it.
Damn.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. But yeah, so like Barney wins everything. And he's about to tell Bob, that he's his son and all this stuff, and he can't bring himself to do it. Instead, he congratulates him on 35 wonderful years on The Price is Right. It's a really, really sentimental moment. This is the moment that made me tear up. I don't know if you noticed, though, Barney is wearing a purple tie.
Oh, no, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And so it kind of hit even more, I feel like, because of that. And also, while I was doing my research, I found something out I didn't realize. This was actually Bob Barker's final year on The Price is Right.
Oh, shit.
He left the show 2 months later.
I wonder if that's why they added that line in there.
I think so.
Because, he thanks him for his service.
Yeah.
And then reminds everybody to spay and neuter their pets.
Yeah. So, because they don't specifically ever mention it in the episode that this is his last year or whatever, which had already been announced. It was announced, I think, early or like mid of the year before, mid 2006 or whatever.
I didn't know that though. That's really sweet though.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, that's really cool. And then we go back to the apartment and he tosses Marshall the keys to the dune buggy.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I don't know what I hope that they at least use this dune buggy.
At least once.
Take it out around the sidewalk of McLaren's. Doesn't say anything about no dune buggies. Just says no boogie boards. Like, come on. I would have. I don't know where you would take that thing. Take it out to the Berkshires.
Right.
Whatever. And then the episode ends with Marshall's Night song for Lily. That's pretty much it. It's a funny little song. Ted's involved in it a little bit.
Now it's just going to be weird.
Yeah. And like I said, it made me think of the Baby Marvin song.
Oh, no. It definitely makes me think of the Baby Marvin song because it's clearly what they use as a base for it.
Yeah. So
Night, little Marvin.
That is the episode. Season 2, episode 20, Showdown. John, you got any final thoughts on the episode?
Besides the fact that this episode is highly layered with the starting of the lie of Barney's dad and him diving into that rabbit hole, which comes up a lot more in season 3.
Yeah.
We're about to go into that. This is a good episode. I love this episode, and I always have. Yeah. It's so sweet because poor Barney is dealing with his own shit. Marshall and Lily are getting married. Ted and Robin. He feels alone. He doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have his dad. Yeah. So I like this episode. It's a good episode.
Me too. Yeah, I think it's really well done. And that brings us to the part that everybody loves on this show. It's time for Barney's blog.
Suit up, bitches.
That's right. All right. So for this episode of Barney's blog, it is titled "The Price is Always Right." It was posted on Tuesday, May 1st of 2007.
Okay.
And it reads as follows. Recently, I made an appearance on the greatest television program of all time. The Price is Right. And it gives insight to you. Host Bob Barker proved himself to be a man of charm, charisma, and grace. In a word, Stinsonian. And since the game is clearly in my blood, I've decided to share with you my dream showcase showdown package. And it says, for optimum effect, please read the following in the voice of Rich Fields and think of Barker's beauties. That's also good advice for life in general.
Can you do a Rich Fields?
No, I can't. So I'm just going to read it in my own voice. It says, your showcase is brought to you by the shores of famous explorer Christopher Columbus. And Barney, what better way to explore the world than on your own private jet? Music cue, jazzy Muzak version of Jet Airliner from Steve Miller Band. And it says, you know what Columbus liked about sea travel? Absolutely nothing. So skip it and travel in style on Aero Barney. Storms, scurvy, pirates, not at 45,000 feet, my handsome friend. Enjoy the onboard Scotch bar, a world-class pornography library, and just sit back, relax, and let our stewardesses, Nina, Pinta, and Maria, from what I hear, she's no saint, fire up the hot tub because you're about to stumble upon the West Indies. Music cue, xylophone rendition of Dire Maker from Led Zeppelin. You'll stay in scenic downtown West Indy, right smack in the heart of the laser tag district. By day, have your pick from the finest fabrics, silks, and cottons the lush Caribbean farmlands have to offer. By night, illuminate the skies with your very own real-life laser, taking on competitors from around the world, drawn to the West Indies' burgeoning underground laser tag scene. No time to bask in the glow of your many victories, however, because you're taking your harvested crops and heading to Italy. Music cue, accordion Muzak of Rome from the B-52s.
Ooh.
Yeah. You'll spend 6 nights and 7 days touring Italy in your very own Rolls Royce. Ride in style and with special guest chauffeur, world-renowned tailor Federico Battaglia. The maverick of the fabric, Federico will show you in Italy normally reserved for tailors and fashionistas. Watch and learn as the master spins your hand-picked materials into custom-made suits so majestic, even Queen Isabella herself would kneel before you. Convenient, because the next stop on your world discovery tour is the Spanish Riviera. Cue music, distorted electric guitar version of Spanish Caravan by the Doors. Of course, you look great in your brand new suits, but how about putting on your birthday suit? That's right, Barney Stinson. It's your very own nude beach. Stay for a day, a month, or a year. It's all yours. Women from around the world will flock to enjoy the sights, sounds, and, of course, the boobs. All this can be yours, Barney Stinson, if the price is right. Have your own dream showcase? Email it to me at barneystinson@yahoo.com. And there it is, folks. That is Barney's blog.
That's a good blog.
Yeah. I love that he just dives into his own imagination in it. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah. But what I find interesting is it's almost entirely trips.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's almost the entirety of it. Trips and a jet, really.
Well, yeah, you're gonna need that to take the trips.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought that was interesting one, to say the least.
And
I don't know if Barney Stinson at yahoo.com still works at all, but feel free to email it, guys.
Do it. Hit them up with your Price is Right showcase package.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else that you want to add to this fine episode of Last Call?
No, I do not.
Well then, John, let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, which I mean, I'm assuming you are, it's the end of the episode, hop on over to Twitter. Look me up at Simply Saying J1. It's the Twitter handle that corresponds with my podcast and my active blog. Should be returning soon, actually. I've been working on a couple things in my head.
Nice.
I got some shit on my mind. I got my money on my mind and my mind on my money. What? But that's where I'm at. Josh, let me guess. Oh, you are on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR.
Nope, I closed down my Twitter. No, I'm just.
I would be so pissed. I'd be like, what?
Yep, that's right. You heard him, folks. At JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. As well as at Movie Blog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with Movie Blog. If you are watching this on YouTube, you are watching it on the Merc with the Movie Blog YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button,
and ring that bell for notifications.
That's right. You want to know?
I had to get something in there.
You want to know. You want to know it all. If you're listening to this, you can listen on anchor.fm/last call HIMYM. Where else can they listen, John?
I mean, you can listen anywhere podcasts are available. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify. I know that there's a few other ones that I never remember. Anywhere podcasts are available, you can pretty much catch us.
That's right. And be sure to leave us some message. We got on Anchor. You can leave us a voice message. We'd love to hear from you that way. On both Apple and Spotify, if you leave a 5-star review, we will read it on air. We've done that a number of times, so definitely do that. It helps us to move up in the listings and everything. So be sure to do that.
Care.
Absolutely.
We love you guys. Like hearing from you people.
Yeah, absolutely. And be sure to hit us up on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM. Be sure to take part in the game. What color was the microphone that he was holding?
And for those Barney of you who play the game, you all lost.
That's also true. All lost the game. But I think that's all I got for him, man. What do you got for him?
Listen, you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here.
All right, catch you guys next time.